Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Ben. We actually got a lot of requests for this one here recently, so that's the main reason I'm covering it, of course. Just keep in mind, this is not financial advice, just really looking at the charts, kind of seeing what's going on here. If you are new to the channel though, not a financial advisor, love to teach people to trade, hope you can learn something here today. If you want to become a better trader, again, cryptocash.tech is a site, link down below, where we all learn and grow together. We have trading academy community and signals. Most recent signal we took profit is on Gala here. That was a nice 94% day before yesterday. So again, that's our swing trades. We have day trades as well coming in the community month end. Really awesome stuff. Be sure to check that out. We also have exclusive partnerships with different exchanges and some copy trading stuff we're working on. Really cool things here coming up soon. All right, so for Ben, what's going on here, old Ben Dog? So what we want to look at is a few things. First of all, I kind of drew these lines here previously where we kind of have this ascending type of trend, as well as a descending trend. This is basically one of those type of patterns that has a tendency of breaking upwards once it squeezes itself into a hole, right? Basically, it keeps collapsing and collapsing in on itself, and then there's a definitive direction that's chosen one way or the other. But since it derived from the bottom, we can kind of summarize that it's going to come to the top, right? It's going to break upwards. It's very common for these kind of candlestick patterns to effectively break up then down. But once again, different stories can happen. Of course, this is not the typical coin. So again, keep that in mind. But based on what we can see here so far, let's go ahead and jump right in. We can see that we are hovering above 50 on the RSI. This is a positive sign. We want to be able to maintain 50 on the RSI at all times. We can also see that we have a divergence on the MACD here on the 4-hour, fairly recent. So that is gaining momentum, which makes sense considering the circumstances. So we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here and just jump right in because we're testing support and the fact that we are establishing higher lows still. But we also want to acknowledge the fact that that's more positive than negative. We really want to look at some key level supports and resistances, and honestly, those are kind of difficult because its ICO, at least on this exchange here, MEXC, does show that the price action kind of stopped out there and had a couple of some issues at this level. So we can kind of summarize or kind of anticipate that this 6,500, 65 essentially is a round number, is effectively the key level support there for us. Okay, now again, it's not definitive. We need more data to be able to determine that. But that's a good start. And it's cool that the 0.786 Fibonacci level here at 6,500 is also holding strong. So that being said, that could and should be the new bottom. We will see obviously here soon, but this little candlestick on the 4-hour looks pretty decent here so far. We want to look at some simple moving averages, and we can kind of see that the 20-day SMA on the 4-hour is kind of holding in line with this trend. Again, kind of because it's jumping around a lot, but bottom line is that moving average is a good point of support as a potential support moving forward. We want to pay attention to see how the price action responds, but it's averaging itself out right there with the 20-day simple moving average. And keep in mind that that's just, when it says 20-day SMA, that's basically 20 candlesticks. It's looking at the average of the last 20 candlesticks. And that's roughly where it's averaging itself out. So again, that's approximately the average true range for this coin is that level here at about 7,000. So with the 1-hour, we want to kind of take a quick look here at the cloud, kind of see where we're at. We are below the cloud. This is typically disadvantageous. Again, not 100% perfect indicator, right? It's more of a conservative indicator. It wicked all the way down here and kind of shows that your conversion line is below the baseline. So if you're holding it short, you may want to consider holding it open for the next 12 hours or less. But if the price continues sideways or up, obviously you want to consider closing. I know it seems very redundant, but this indicator is really good about telling you which side of the tracks you're on. And right now, the key takeaway is that we're below this resistance level. And until we can break back up above, we can expect the price to continue lower. Okay, that's basically what it's telling us. So again, we have some conflicting information. We got the 4-hour with a support level at the 50 on the RSI, and of course a MACD divergence. Those both kind of cancel each other out. Then we can also see here as well on the hourly that we are below the cloud. So that to me is mostly bearish, and more likely than not, we're going to see a decrease in value. But let's go ahead and check the 30-minute and kind of just see if we have any kind of Elliott wave theory here. Now keep in mind, this is a theory for a reason. It's not 100% precise, but what it does, it typically establishes higher highs and higher lows until you hit that number 5 mark, which we've seen here right now. And there's typically an ABC pattern. Okay, so this does imply that we are printing our C right now. So if the price does bounce from here, that would be our bottom. Okay, so it does reaffirm potential support level there at the 0.786 mark at 6,500. Okay, so that's slightly positive. Again, reaching for straws in a sense, right? You can only disseminate so much with very little data here. I prefer to use larger time frames, and there's not a whole heck of a lot right now, right? We're only a few days into this. But as we can kind of see here so far in today's trading, the U.S. market is pretty much keeping it pretty level between these ranges. We can also see too that our CC Gold indicator gave us a few confirmational signs previously, but those are null and void because we're still below that moving average. Okay, so make sure that you do not take entry if you use that indicator just based on it being a recent green candle. There's a lot of other confirmational factors you want to use too. Okay, and if we take a look at Bollinger Bands, we can also see there's no real signs here to take any entries, and we're kind of just working ourselves within this band, and it's starting to compress a little bit more too. So as that does, we have more potential volatility coming up. So that could and should work us into this little continuation here. So if this price does continue to go higher, we should expect a rejection and an inevitable breakup or breakdown. Just know if this continues to happen and the price goes up and retests this 0.382 level, there's a much larger chance of the price going higher from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of reevaluate this here whenever we cross this level, right about the 8,000 mark, and see if it's worth getting in for a long position to the upside. Okay? Because again, we work with MEXC Global. They are one of our sponsored affiliates, and I can tell you that they're a good exchange. So if you want to use their link, you'll benefit greatly if you do that by using our link, of course, because we have trading competitions with them. But what I want to say here is that until we can see a clean break or some kind of a closure today in the 8,000 mark or higher, there's no reason to want to take a long position. I know it sounds crazy because you could take a long literally to the 8,000, right? But it's a very big risk. We see a lot more reasons why the price should continue lower than it should continue higher. Okay, one last thing to take a quick look at is TD sequential. We're roughly 6 hours in this downtrend. We may have another 4 more hours of continuation before the price bounces to the upside. That's just something that's important to pay attention to. But you can see here, there's very few 9s on this level, and that tells us a lot about the fact that the price action is fairly inconsistent right now. And it's not a lot of consistency is pretty much the easiest way to summarize it. So I hope this makes sense for you and you can kind of understand where I'm coming from here with these indicators. Again, kind of early, if you will, but again, I like to look at all coins. I mean, Pepe's been a fun one to look at too, and it just takes a little bit more time to be able to establish those trends, and we're not quite there yet. But from what we can see here, if 6,500 holds, then it'd be more likely than not the price would continue higher. And if it does continue higher, you can expect it to break that previous resistance level here in the relative near future once we break that trend line too. Okay? A lot of those things need to happen, but simply put, that's where we're at here for now. So you asked, I provided, and in turn I ask your help. If you could just help us grow the channel. CryptoCash.tech, of course, is a place where you can register to become a better trader and benefit from some awesome trades and to work with some phenomenal traders. We got some really cool traders in our community here. They're doing some really awesome stuff. So keep up the good work, everyone. Super proud of you. It's awesome to be able to kind of learn and grow together. But more important, help us grow our YouTube as well. Like, subscribe, follow the whole 9 yards. I greatly appreciate it. Look forward to working with you. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one.